little early. Oh boy, it's like game sevens going on today. So much going on right now. Oh boy.
Yeah,
But
it's
yeah,
gonna be
like yo, it's gonna be a good one. Hopefully, I'm not gonna lie. Much like how like we view wrestling and wanting the young blood to do what they gotta do. Um this guy,
Hello,
I see you, boy. I see you,
boy.
dog. I see
Damn,
you.
Haitian
Listen,
got
we
the
we,
damn
we gonna
glasses
do
on,
the
still can't see me. It's crazy.
I saw you. All right. Don't get disrespectful.
Not disrespectful, you Haitian. It's the truth.
You're
It's
right.
only disrespectful. Not true.
No,
You
you're
gotta
right.
live
You're
by
right.
that
You're right.
code. It's only
You're right. You're right. But tonight you got to
what's up,
support
Top.
another. Tonight you got to support another Haitian in the game seven. Light skinned Jesus.
He's not Haitian. I don't know who told you
Yes, he is. His his mother's a quarter. I'm jacking
that.
it.
Pause. Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was wild. That was wild. That was
That's crazy.
and like that, we will start in 30.
wild. Oh boy. All right, man. We see y'all in a few.
Mm.
And I'm no intro this week, man, because something's going on with this damn thing. But anyway, welcome to another edition of the broadcast. I am your host and moderator, the People's Champion. Um, Welcome to episode 176, titled "May the Fourth Be with You." Today is May 4th, 2025. For those Star Wars fans out there, May the 4th be with y'all. I'm your host and moderator, the People's Champion. This week, I'll be doing some Nickelodeon tag names. I am Stu Pickles for this week, joined by Kid Dynamite, and of course, Henny Bobby Brown is getting ready, aka BK Matt is getting ready. Diamond Cutter won't be with us this week, but hopefully he'll be with us on Mother's Day as we get a chance to talk some graps. And we got a lot to talk about this week. But before that, uh, before everything, we could usually go to start the show with a vibe check. So, how we feeling this week, guys?
I'm in pain.
Why are you in pain,
Been in
Matt?
the hospital all because I got a pinched nerve. So shit is really, really looking like a nigga's about to be on Social Security. That's where it's heading. I'm about to retire, Stu. It's over for me. When your back goes, everything else goes.
Yeah, should I even know that was? I didn't even know that was going on with you, dog.
Man, you know how I am. I'm very, quiet about a lot of things. It's embarrassing. I'm too young to be this old.
Hey,
Man, that's my week. I'm still in pain. Niggas smell like Tiger Balm. That's what it's here for.
Hold on. I think Gran, your mic went mute. Either you went mute or wait, can y'all hear me? Hold up a second. Can you guys hear me? Uh, Oof, can't hear a damn thing. What's going on here? Give me a moment.
Can y'all hear me now? Hello, Bueller. Yo. Oh, what is going on? I'm
Well,
sorry.
my Wi-Fi is bad. That's where I'm at. But I was hearing everything that y'all was saying. I was just, I was
You
on
hear me
mute.
though?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I can hear everyone now too.
Oh, about to say, like, what the fuck was going on? I was worried for a second.
I was also having connection issues.
I was like, God damn.
So
Well, GC can hear us. When in doubt, GC always got us.
I don't know if that's always a good thing, but we love GC.
Now, GC brings the energy. He brings the energy as long as he's not mentioning who he normally mentions every week.
You had to say something. You had to say something, right?
Hey, I didn't say no names. I just said that, listen, as long as he's not mentioning any other crazy names this week. Anyway, man, let's just get to the icebreakers of the week. The elephant in the room. First, well, it's basically the only icebreaker question for the day, because obviously the last couple days ago we heard about the roster releases for WWE.
I'm sick about that.
Yes, sir. So we're gonna talk about it real quick. Right now I'm gonna show you basically the roster releases.
I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready.
So for the
I wasn't ready.
Yeah, no one was really ready with the releases. So for the release,
Not Miss Jackson.
Yeah. But let me get through these releases. So for the roster releases, we have Braun Strowman, Shayna Baszler, Dakota Kai, Kaden Carter, Katana Chance for the main roster. For NXT, there's Cora Jade, Gigi Dolan, Oro Mensa, Riley Osborne, Eddie Thorpe, Jakara Jackson, Javier Bernal, Joe Coffey, Mark Coffey, Wolfgang, Danny Palmer. And also, as of recent, Shotzi as well. Shotzi Blackheart is leaving the WWE according to Fightful. So guys, what's your thoughts about that?
Go ahead, Ty. Still emotional.
All right, I'll try to keep it brief. All that, and WWE still has the deepest women's tag division.
We'll touch on that. We'll touch on that, man, because I have some shit to say.
I'm not happy. Obviously, I don't think most people who like dedicate themselves to the product and really do care about the depth of the roster are happy. The obvious sentiments of like, you don't want to see people lose their jobs. You don't want to see people be put in positions where they're faced with like, what is my future? A lot of these talents are very, very I'll put it this way. It won't be hard for a lot of them to find work, but it's still a situation that sucks. And I think the main reason why it sucks for me is because there's really no excuse as to why these talents have to go. Like, when you look at the current WWE structure, the different title divisions, the different places a lot of these talents could be, there's really no reason why any of these talents should go. And this is the third set of releases, if I'm correct, this year so far, because we had like Sonya Deville, Cedric Alexander, we had the Authors of Pain, Paul Ellering, we had Baron Corbin, Indy Hartwell, the Good Brothers, like Tegan Knox. Like, this is only within the past 6 months or so. So or maybe a little bit more, but it hasn't been that long that we've seen so many of these talents get released. Like, that is a whole roster in GM mode worth of talent, right? That's a whole like show roster in general. Yes, the company is bigger. They're making more money. More cuts are going to come. This isn't even counting possible employee cuts coming up soon as well. I hope everyone who has lost their job or might be in jeopardy finds work soon. But it is a shame in terms of the on-screen talent we're seeing, because there's really no reason why they can't be used. A lot of these talents, some of them are getting released in the middle of storylines. Like in the case of Jakara Jackson, that 4 just got broken up. And everyone's like, Miss Jackson, you got to do your thing. Everyone's got to do their own thing, and Miss Jackson is now on the free agency list. You know, in the case of Dakota Kai, some people might have already been not programmed, but they might be conditioned to be used to her off TV because she hasn't been used for a while, right?
Wasn't she being used against Lyra? I was like, that was the thing.
But that was recent. Don't get me wrong, but like she's already been off TV a bit enough that people will be like, oh, well, I mean, she's not coming back, and I'm not happy with that. But it's kind of like I'm at a point where it kind of reminds me of the Mustafa Ali release, where it's just like people getting released in the middle of things. Shotzi and Gigi Dolan had their little Chemical X type of trio down there in NXT. Why would you
Chemical
get
X is crazy. I like that one. That was a good one.
They were the Powerpuff Girls. Just
I like that one.
that's how it felt.
I like that one.
You know, they're now that's gone, and it's just Tatum, right? Like, there's no real reason to break up Jakara Jackson and Last Legend in the first place, storyline wise. But now we've lost a talent that could have benefited from being on her own. We'll never know what she would have did at that point. You know, now we have to see what she'll do going forward. You lose Braun Strowman, who spent a majority of time trying to get back into the swing of things, had decent matches with Gunther, was most recently used in the matches with Jacob Fatu that helped to really get him over. And this is kind of how he gets rewarded. It's like, what? Cora Jade was such a consistent part of the women's division when she was healthy, and now she's just being tossed aside. And it's like, what are we? Not, Cora Jade. So it's like, oh, there's a little echo. I don't know what oh, that's on Matt's end. Okay. No, it's gone now. But what you call it? It sucks. Like a lot of this sucks because it's sort of like those situations where, you know, like someone just loses their job for no real reason. It's just they're trying to get budget cuts. These are the contracts they wanted to get rid of. DKO's getting rid of them. I know a lot of people are blaming Triple H, and sure, you know, Triple H probably could stop some of these releases. Don't get me wrong. It's not like Triple H hasn't tried to hire people back after the fact, but it does make you stuff like this does make you wonder. Similar to when, you know, the mass releases happened under Vince, like, where do you stand in the company? Is it your fault that you're not being used? Like, if the company doesn't have anything for you, is it just a matter of time, right? Because I'd like to think if I'm under contract and they're not using me, you know, if I was used prominently for a few weeks, like if I had a good run, as they say, and then you don't use me for a couple months, is it only a matter of time before the next release sweep? There's always a spring cleaning sort of thing. There's always been a thing, but now these releases happen whenever. If there's one thing that I would wish they would do, is I wish y'all would stop releasing people during SmackDown.
Yeah.
Like, could y'all like wait till Saturday morning or afternoon or something? Like, if there are any people who are watching the show and they're online on their phone, which a lot of people are, and you're watching SmackDown and you hear, yo, 20 something people got released, you're not even caring what's on your screen right now. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I feel bad for a lot of these talent. On the bright side of things, there are a lot of possibilities for the indies. For example, Team Kick could be a force on the indies, if not on their own, because Tegan Knox has been doing her own thing since she's been off, but now Dakota Kai is also there, and that could be a thing. You have Shayna Baszler, now she's uncuffed, and she spent about, 8 or so years with WWE, almost a decade with the company, and for a good portion of her main roster run, she's been handcuffed to what she could do. Now there's no restrictions, and she's still performing at a high level. We saw that at Bloodsport Brooklyn. We saw that at the most recent Bloodsport when she faced... No, it was Natalya that faced Miyu Yamashita. I'm forgetting who Shayna faced, but she hasn't lost a step. So we'll see a lot of these wrestlers in general with less cuffs, and hopefully we'll see them in a better place. And I guess the last thing I'll say, during a time where WWE and AEW are fighting for the same pool of talent in a lot of ways, or similar pools, I really wish there was another company, another option that's in a similar range. Because, or maybe there is, and I just haven't found it yet. I know DPW has done well. I know people put faith in MLW, but I really want to see another big company, because it's a shame when both companies have terrible talent usage because of the people at the top. And I would like to see a lot more of these talents have their time used and utilized to the best of their abilities while they're still around, So I want to see more big options for a lot of these talents, because they do deserve it, and they can help build a lot more companies. Because with WWE being in bed with TNA and AEW owning Ring of Honor, right? The options for some of the bigger companies in America are outside of DPW, MLW, the HOGs and whatnot. It's not as big as it used to be.
I just wasn't. I'm never gonna get over this. Randy, I think you're on mute again.
Yeah, Randus, your audio is the one that's doing it now. I hear Matt perfectly fine. I can hear Matt's anger through his forehead.
It's just it bothers me, Ty. There was such high hopes for Miss
It
Jackson.
bothers me.
There was so much. I had high hopes.
Is that the only? You seem to be stuck on only Jakara Jackson. Is that the only one?
Cora Jade too. I feel like certain women that they had in the NXT division, the women division,
Yeah,
I felt like if they had their chance to really, shine, they were gonna shine. I think the stigma around Roxanne Perez, like there was so much focus on her, and then they got Julia and Stephanie Vaquer, and then it was like, all right, we got some new shiny toys, and then Jordan Grace came in the mix. It's like the only woman that they're really focusing on now that's like been there is Miss Parker. And you had a legit tag team with Lash Legend and Jakara. I liked them together. I just really did. I know that they see bigger and better things for Lash, but it's like we didn't really get to see what Jakara was going to be about if she was by herself.
I said as much.
Huh?
No, I said as much. I agree with you.
It's just I feel like I don't agree with like a lot of the women releases. I can understand the Braun Strowmans because it's like, what do you do with him? He lost that mystique of being the monster among men and shit. He lost that mystique already. They fed him to Jacob Fatu, and granted, I don't really think Jacob really needed Braun Strowman to get over and to complete his dominance. I think he did a great job as the enforcer for the bloodline. So I don't think it was needed, and I just feel like Braun Strowman is. I think he needed a new gimmick for not like a new gimmick, but he needed a new fresh coat of paint. There was just nothing there that was capturing anybody anymore. Nobody
I
was really
can
caring about Braun Strowman like that.
I can agree with that. I
So
think that yeah, no, I agree. My bad.
so it's just a lot of them. A lot of the releases it didn't make sense to me. Like Shayna, for the life of me, I don't understand why Shayna hasn't been in the main event picture for years. It's fucking disgusting at this point.
Agreed.
I the run that she had on NXT, it made no sense why Shayna hasn't won
That
a
is
damn title.
crazy. No, I'm sorry, Michael. Michael, what is wrong with you? That
No,
is
no. Leave Bostic alone. No. Leave John.
You on a 5 minute. You and Genocide Circus on a 5 minute ban. That's crazy.
He said he could tell you why though.
I don't need it. I don't need that.
I'm waiting for the reply. My fault, yo. My computer crashed.
No, you good? Mastered the rain dance. This is crazy.
WWE ain't the land of the Giants
Hello,
anymore.
Faith.
Hey, Faith.
Hey, Faith.
But I agree with Matt. Like I
guys.
said earlier, a lot of these releases feel unnecessary because in terms of if there is supposed to be a structure with the company, which I know that's even up in the air, like they're title divisions for these people. They're options for these people. And you took a lot of depth out of your rosters, both on NXT. I mean, the problem is that they have too many people to say grace over. But a lot of these people that you have coming up, like, are they going to be of the same quality as what you have just gotten rid of? Are they going to be prepared to take those spots the way that they should? And do they even have to? You know, like, what's stopping Dakota Kai from being a Intercontinental champion, considering he was in the finals of the tournament, right?
They should have gave her the strap when they had the opportunity. They pissed that one away. That's on them.
What's stopping Shayna Baszler, as you said, from being a champion? What's stopping Kaden Carter and Katana Chance from being a real pillar of the tag team division? Especially when you consider the fact that, like, a lot of these releases have brought into question, what are you even doing with some of your additional championships you've added over the years? Like the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships have been around, I believe, for 8 years. And in 8 years, they have never felt, since 2017, believe it or not. I know the pandemic kind of threw the matrix off for a lot of people, but
It's been that long?
But the reality of the situation is, like, the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships have been around for 8 years. And while you can point to a lot of great women's tag matches and title defenses, a number one contenders and qualifying matches, the division has not been consistent. The division hasn't been consistent. They haven't had enough foundational teams. A lot of the best moments from these titles come from makeshift alliances or these long-term teams made out of single stars that shouldn't be in a tag team to begin with. Like, you could say, like, the best women's tag team champions in the history of the titles are the Kabuki Warriors. And you can make the argument that the Kabuki Warriors did not have to be the Kabuki Warriors. They made the best out of a situation they didn't have much control over. But, like, both of them have been proven single stars, to where it's like they didn't need to be in a team that long. You have, Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill, who are the most recent tag champions that people really cared about. But again, that belt was being used as more of a vehicle to push their union of a story between the three of them, with Naomi, them individually, which will eventually pop off at some point in the future, right? I know it's WWE. The tag titles are usually used as vehicles for single storylines, but that's an issue. Just because we're used to it doesn't make it good. And I think that at this point, you've proven Sasha Banks' point, what Naomi and Sasha Banks left for. The fact that, like, you have nothing for these belts, even with the new regime. You haven't figured out how to use these championships. You have people on social media calling for these belts to be destroyed. You have people calling for the secondary titles for the women to be destroyed. The Intercontinental and US belts that just got here. All because you're killing the depth with these releases. You're not using a lot of these talents. God bless Zelina Vega. We finally get to see her with some gold, with some ice, right? We've been calling for it for a while.
That took forever.
But yeah, Meechin's right there.
To break up the metaphor. Yeah. Listen, JT, I feel you, dog. Listen,
again,
I get it.
Very reminiscent of Mustafa Ali.
More reminiscent to Hit Row.
Like,
don't do that.
It's the truth. It's the truth. They were on TV one day and they was fired the next day. We just were like, what the fuck happened?
We just, like, what do you like? And the fact that there's no rhyme or reason, it doesn't matter if you're involved in a certain story. Well, I'm not gonna say it doesn't matter if you're involved in a story, but if you're not at the higher tier of talent, it's like it's anyone's ball game, and it kind of sucks to see it be that way.
Spooky.
All right, but, like, before we kind of, like, move forward and stuff like that, the only thing I would say is the fact that, like, sure, for some, like, I guess some of the people that were released were not as appealing to the fans as but at the same time, like, they lost their jobs. And some of them could have been some of them could have been utilized better, like a Dakota Kai. I think Braun's been hurt for quite some time. I believe he's still paralyzed on the left side of his leg. So for him to do all that still with
Braun Strowman?
a guy, yeah.
Oh, damn.
So for him to do that,
that's crazy.
All that he's been doing with Gunther, with Bronson Reed, and with Jacob Fatu at this stage of his career, like, it's been, I more power to him. I felt like Dakota should have had an opportunity. Jakara Jackson was weird because I really thought if there was any legit tag team that you could have built your division around.
Division off of it. Yeah, it was them two.
It was her and Lash Legend, and it was stupid. I'm sure people not gonna miss Gallus, but I thought they had a little something. Eddie
Eddie
Thorpe
Thorpe,
was cool as well.
part of the mad storyline so far this year.
It was mad storylines. So
It's
to
weird.
lose Eddie Thorpe was kind of wild. So it was rough to see all that just basically just take place.
I was talking about the one.
Like
I'm gonna go get some later. Okay.
It wouldn't shock
like
me if like Shawn Michaels was like called Hunter and was like, "What the fuck is going on?"
I'm
I
pretty
dropped that
sure he
earlier.
did. I'm pretty sure he did because like you can
I'll
tell
go get you
like
one. Don't worry about it.
with the people that Sean works with in NXT, like he takes time and he really helped cultivate and let those guys grow. And I think now, like for whatever reason, man, I just feel like like ever since that TKO deal, it's been more of a money thing on their side more so than Trips wanting to let them go. Because I know when Vince did the release, it was more like, all right, bye. So I like it's pretty much the same thing, but at the same time, the circumstances are different in terms of why these stars are being released. It's messed up, but at the same time, you hope where they go to their next destination that they go kill. Like I know Shayna, she can go to GCW and just basically just kill over there. Like for those who are pouting, oh, they should go there. Please stop it. All right, they just got released. They don't know the first thing in terms of where they want to go. They don't always have to go to that company. There's far other places in wrestling to go to showcase your name. Al Snow said it best. If you do lose your job at WWE, it's not the end all be all. You can go make a name for yourself elsewhere. Make it so big enough, make it so big and undeniable that WWE will have no other choice. Right. They will have no other choice to hit you back, and then you come back. Look at Drew McIntyre, look at Cody Rhodes. They've been proof of that. Look at, Naomi right now. They have been, examples and proof of the fact that you can go elsewhere, make a bigger name for yourself and do something big and then come back. And then, listen, you'll get exactly what you need or where you need to be on the card. So I just hope that at some point, it works out for some of them. I know for others, they're a bit longer in the tooth like Shayna and Braun. But I just hope the best for them when they move forward and hope they ball out elsewhere. It doesn't have to be, in AEW. Like there's far other places. This would be a perfect opportunity for NWA to be like, you know what? Let me scoop up some of these talents and try to make a name for themselves there. But that's just me. That's just me. That's just me hoping too much. That's the optimist in me. So, but
Just
in
don't
terms
go
of the
to
releases,
AEW.
man,
Listen to CM Punk.
huh?
Listen to CM Punk. Do not
What
go
do
to
you say?
AEW. He went on a post to Cora Jade, basically saying you're going to land on your feet. Just stay the fuck away from Tony. That's that.
Look, Punk's still petty.
I'm gonna send it to you in a minute.
Hold on. See, JT said that more than likely most of these releases will probably go to TNA. Hey,
See, that's
TNA could definitely use it.
No, that's just well, good for them. They get contracts to get their money, but it's just weird because again,
They're
TNA is
affiliated.
TNA is affiliated with WWE. It's like that's like you get fired and you move to a different wing of the same building.
Pretty much.
Almost like it feels similar to that. It's like if that was the case, you should have just talked to TKO and been like, let's move them somewhere else so we don't have to pay them, or like talk to TNA, be like, can you pick up these contracts, or I don't know.
They could have done that. It's like, all right, like we don't need these contracts on this side. Let's just furlough your contract elsewhere. They could have done it cleaner, but in business is never done clean, no matter if it's met with good intention or with just trying to save money on the margins. So like for them, hopefully if they do go to TNA, it'll be great because it could use a lot more talent in their depth, and that's the pipeline. That's what they need. So you kind of need to furlough that, and if they want to branch out elsewhere outside of that, they can. If they want to stay close enough to their friends in WWE, so be it, because at least you have that pipeline to continue to collab and do some of these great moments. Listen, I know there's going to be a moment where like you're going to see Mustafa Ali at some point, and he's in TNA right now. So who knows? We don't know, but we shall see down the line. But in addition to that, in addition to that, for the most part, as we move forward, with these releases, with the remaining people that are still now on the WWE roster, especially for the main roster, what can WWE do to utilize the depth of their roster? And I'll start with Ty.
Use them.
That's all I got. That's all I got.
Literally, like, look, you just took a chunk of people you could have used for some of these other championship divisions and other side stories as well.
Mm-hmm.
You took them out. Like, you wiped them out. So it's going to be a bit harder. You're going to have to call up some NXT people now, which is going to shake up everyone's. That's part of the reason why these releases kind of suck, right? Now you have to shake everybody's foundation just to compensate for the fact that whoever it was decided to let these people go. Again, we don't know how that works. We don't know who knows what when it happens, or if this is break it. Like, we don't know. But all they can do now is move some people around. I mean, for example, if you're going to play off of the Metaphor breakup, right?
I'm mad about that.
I'm still pissed.
I don't see why you can't have. I have my reservations about it to a degree, because I have a stricter feel on talent, but you could have a Lash Legend theoretically move to a Raw or SmackDown and start to slowly build himself up in the Intercontinental title division or US title.
Wow.
Huh?
Like, what is her identity outside of Metaphor right now?
Well, this is time to find out, because clearly they see something in her.
That's what they would have to work with.
I think they just see the size in her. I think that's truly what I think that they see.
I mean, that's what that's all you need.
No. Well, I mean, that's a good foot in the door. I'll put it that way, Randy. But
okay,
in terms of figuring out who they're going to, like, who she's going to be, that might be something they explore, whether it be with the North American title, the NXT Women's Championship, or they explore it with the Intercontinental title on Raw or the US title on SmackDown. But the reality is they have to move some people around, right? Like, especially in the case of the women, you have to, because Mia Yim's on SmackDown, B-Fab is on SmackDown, Zelina Vega is on SmackDown.
Sorry.
On Raw, you have Bayley and Lyra, you have Becky. They might have to move Roxanne permanently to Raw. They might have to move Julia permanently to Raw. Like, they might have to move, like,
you don't think it's too soon for that though?
It is.
It is, but based on what they're doing, they're teasing it. Like, they already teased Stephanie Vaquer on Raw.
It's not even just a teasing. Again, when you release this many women who you could have had, like, now you have, like, Zoe Starks on her own, right? Like, you have, like, there's a lot of people that, in all honesty, you're gonna have to shift around to compensate. That's the problem. They have to compensate now. So that's right. As far as the non-women's divisions, sure, Lash could.
I don't like that.
Lash being Naomi's
not right now. At least not right now.
Nah, Naomi's cooking. She's cooking on her own right now.
Ty just said something. He said,
what he said?
Lash could be Naomi's heavy.
She could be the way.
Doesn't need it. I feel like Naomi.
Not right now. I'm not saying not right now.
Like, no, I'm not to add some legitimacy to her heel run, bro.
I'm not saying that right now. I'm not saying that she needs it. I'm not saying that I necessarily want it. I'm saying I could see it happen based on what they did. And we're at the point now where we're trying to find a compromise, right? Mm-hmm. Because the reality is we don't want a lot of these people to shift stories. But if they're forcing it to happen, in the words of a lot of y'all, we got to make the most out of what's already there. We got to work with what we got. So
it's true.
So I'm saying, like, that is a possibility. As far as the men go, it's the same thing. You have to use them better. You have to make the Intercontinental and US Championship divisions more competitive, which is going to be tough because now you have Jacob Fatu as champion, which means he's going to basically bulldoze everybody, which now we're going to have another long-term champion. In terms of the Intercontinental title, I believe it's Dominic. That's a little bit more lenient because you can get a lot of people over without Dominic having to lose.
I'd love to see it happen.
But you have to utilize more of your roster. You have to make it so that a casual fan can go, oh, this person fights for this title, and they know that, as opposed to, oh, this just happens to be happening. Because if you go back a few years, not even a few years, if you go back 20 years, if I asked you who was in the Intercontinental title scene in 2005, you could tell me at least 5 names.
Mm-hmm.
definitively, without
The
even
all-around
having.
Shelton Benjamin in RVD.
Even an old Ric Flair was in that
Yeah.
category.
Well,
during
that was 2006. But notice how you can say that in the current time, you can name people who should be there but aren't regularly there. Right?
Yeah.
It's not as rigid. It's not as defined. So you have to make it so people know who goes where. You have to make the storyline like the graduation from one title scene to the next. You have to make it more clear. So, for example, like Dolph Ziggler, right? Dolph Ziggler became world champion as early as 2011,
12. Oh, 20, yeah.
the first time, but he still felt like a mid-carder because of the way that they did it.
The one that they
When did Dolph Ziggler feel like he was world championship bound legitimately to you? 2012. You have to make it defined like, oh, this person is graduating and we know it and we can feel it. You have to really work on those details. That's how you fix a lot of this.
And they still pull the rug from under him. They still pull that rug from under him, man.
Whatever the case may be, we can't go back now. He's TNA tag champion now. But right now, work on the details. Work on the things that people aren't talking about. The things that people feel is too complicated to worry about. That's your job to fix. That way you make it easier for everybody to understand. And that's all it is.
Shout out to the Black Guy Wrestling Podcast, man. Shout out to them, man. They good peoples, man.
I'm with what Mike said. Lyra is boring, bro. And I'm not interested. I'm not interested in her and Becky. I'm sorry, I'm not. It does nothing for me.
That's the second time they brought Becky back. Huh?
For what?
Do you feel the same?
I don't think Lyra's boring. I don't think we've gotten to know who she is.
Yeah, she's a second-rate Becky.
We don't know that yet. The jury's still out on that.
But I can't blame Matt for feeling a certain way when the most they push about her are feathers and she's Irish. That
Becky.
You have to this is why I'm saying, look, you are attracting the biggest audience you've ever attracted. You have a lot of top storylines at the forefront that involve a very small number of people. You cannot be surprised with these shitty theme songs, with this shitty booking, and with this shitty use of the rest of your talent that people don't know who these people are.
Oh, they do. They need to do tournaments for these mid-card titles and take a page of the TK playbook. I mean, technically,
how dare you use that man's name and try to give him credit for something that's good? That's not that good. They have a tournament every week.
Here's the thing. You can use tournaments, but balance it.
You don't have to oversaturate it like AEW does.
They're in a fucking tournament now.
But even Hart tournament, but this one's a yearly thing. So
why?
You want to know what the best solution is? Here's what you do.
Mm-hmm.
Put all your options on the table, and instead of going, "This is exactly what we need," use what's necessary at the right time.
Fair point, Faith.
There's a reason why they tell you to stay in the middle of the scale, so you can look to your left.
Government cheese version of Becky.
All right, we can focus. You stay in the middle, so you can see the left and the right, so you can see both perspectives. I hate these black and white answers because they don't do anything. They just push you to a different extreme. Literally, just look at all your options and go, maybe this could work for the summer. Maybe this could work for the spring, and use it accordingly. That's all you have to do. We don't need 30 different tournaments. We can have some very competitive number one contenders matches, some very competitive title matches, and then maybe at the end of the year, if the opening is there, cap off the year with a tournament to springboard the next year. You can do it that way. You could do it in the reverse fashion. Every option is on the table. You just have to go with what makes sense for the climate of what's happening. That's literally it. I don't understand why that's so hard. I think people want to think less and find an easy solution. That's my issue with a lot of these options. A lot of what y'all are bringing to the table is valid, but as the final, ultimate, only solution, I think we have to be better discussing about that. That's what I'm saying.
That's fair. I mess with that. Any last thoughts before we move on?
Put the Money in the Bank back at Mania.
Wait, can you name off the men that got released? Because the crazy thing is I didn't care about the men getting released. It was more or less like the
Eddie
women.
Thorpe, Oro
has been cooking.
Eddie Thorpe, Oro Menso from the Metaphor.
They didn't even do much with him.
Braun
he had
Strowman.
one feud. That was with Ethan Page, right?
Braun Strowman.
He had one fucking feud.
Yeah,
he did good in that match too. That was a good ass match.
You can make the argument for a lot of these people. A lot of them didn't get to reach their potential.
That shit sucks.
Yep.
I think that's the one thing I hate about when we do these releases. Some of it we like, some of it you can see it on the wall. I think it's fucked up that y'all keep doing that to what's his name?
Dakota or Braun?
No, not Dakota. I'm talking about the Asian dude that's in Alpha Academy. I forgot his name.
Akira Tozawa.
Thank you. I was gonna call him to Jerry's little kid cousin. I don't know, but I think that y'all always are trying to get him fired. I don't know why. I mean, he's Tajiri right now. He's for comic relief,
which means he has job security.
Exactly.
You would think that, but
yeah.
I still hate the state of Akira Tozawa in general. And Otis.
I hate Swaggy Oats. They should be doing more with Swaggy Oats. I hate that they're not doing it.
You know, somebody brought this up to me and they said Apollo Crews has been dodging releases for years.
Still works there?
The fact that you said that at that point. But the funny part about it is that Apollo Crews and Akira Tozawa used to be a team outside of WWE, and they were a good team, and they could have been.
But Nikita's still there. Listen, a big Pogga pump. You know, with one good knee, is still there.
I think they killed her momentum when she got. Well, not they didn't kill her. When she got injured, that's what killed her momentum. Honestly.
She wasn't improving just yet, and honestly, I wouldn't focus on her as much over other people on the roster. That's just me. Like.
They still trying to make Big Pogga Pump work.
Well, you love that name.
That's literally all Randy's attachment to that woman. Yeah, literally just that name. He has no other. Moving on. Next question. That's just next question. Yeah.
All right, man. All right, so back for this week is our BDGM segment. So, in addition to what we were talking about today, because we're talking about the releases and what the WWE roster could do better, who specifically, now that the smoke is clear with the people that's gone now and some opportunities now being presented, who would you like to push more or utilize more on the main roster? And since I started with Ty last time, I'm starting with Matt this time around.
Oh, thank God. I need water.
Sorry, Fig.
Hydration station. Yeah.
Because you always like, yo, man, you always about the new blood. So who would you?
Honestly, I would push. I would push Melo more.
Okay, for sure.
I think it's a crime that A-Town beat John Cena at WrestleMania, and we haven't really seen him do anything much relevant since.
A-Town beat Johnson.
Yeah, so it's like I feel like you had two. If we're going to focus on Austin Theory, I feel like he had that US title run. That's what I'm talking about. He beat John Cena at WrestleMania, and they didn't do nothing with him.
They fucked that one up.
They killed that. It's like you have the depth. First of all, where the fuck is he? Like, where is he at right now? Is he on SmackDown or is he on Raw?
Is he on SmackDown or NXT?
Last time I seen him, he was getting washed by the Usos. That was the last time I seen him.
Bruh, like, and they've been teasing them breaking up for like so long now, and I'm just like,
a year.
I'm like, just do it already, because it's like, listen, like if you're fearing that Grayson Waller is not gonna get off on his own, like I guess, but Austin Theory was someone that when he got to the main roster, like I legit felt like, okay, you have a young person that you can legit build off of, but you gave that energy to Braun Breaker like soon after. So it's just like, I don't know, man. It's tough for me to see. So it's like A-Town is on Raw. G Circus just said. And JT said they're on SmackDown. So I'm gonna go with JT on that one. But still, it's like I just feel that with someone at Austin Theory's like talent, like you've seen him on the Indies and he was killing, and this, that, and the third, and you've seen him on NXT and he was killing. So for whatever reason why it hasn't translated since the United States title run, I feel bad, because that's one person who I feel like, especially of the younger talent, should be pushed a hell of a lot more. And I hopefully when Bronson Reed gets back, that's somebody that I want to see utilized more when he gets back, because you have so much depth between the mid card, and now with Cena, like, I wouldn't say hijacking, but he's the last real WWE champion, and whatever that's been going on, you have an opportunity with Jacob as a United States champion to build that division as well without Cena constantly being there every week. So, I mean, he's definitely a name that I like to see utilized more. Mello, Bronson Reed. I would love to say Finn, but I'm starting to give up at this point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can imagine. Real
I
shit.
got some people.
Like, yeah, Ty, I'm gonna tag in who you want to see.
Well, first things first, I know there are rumors they're going to have another draft. I have my thoughts on that. Basically, can we stop doing the draft the way we've done it the past couple years, please? This shit is ass. I'm gonna be honest. There's no articulate way to say it that will fit my patience level right now. I feel like my photo right now. I'm just done. I'm getting tired of this.
Yeah, I didn't realize you changed your picture. Like I saw Spike from from Cowboy Bebop.
That means I'm serious. You know, I took the mask off. It was Steve Austin all along. I'll tell you what, though, the draft they need to fix that. No, I'm the most angry Austin. I'm 96. What do you call it? I'm tired of the way that the company has been doing this with the draft, where it's like we've had draft shows in the past, but like people not really moving. Like I'll put it to you this way: the drafts of the 2000s were weird, but at least the people who moved, every pick was a guarantee shift on the roster. The current day drafts outside of the superstar shakeup has been, oh, this person stays on SmackDown, and it's like, why? Why do I care if they stay on SmackDown? Like, bro, just tell me who's moving from show to show. You're trim the fat. This is diabetic. I don't like it. This is not healthy. I don't want it. That being said, no offense to anyone who has that. No, that being said, people that I want to see move, the people I want to see use better. I want LA Knight to go over to Raw and actually be a part of the World Heavyweight Championship division, because you can't do anything more with him with a secondary title right now, as of right now. He's been stalled enough in the U.S. title division. You teased him with Roman. You put him on the back burner for about a year and a half. Have him go after a world championship. If he can't go after the big logo that John Cena's holding right now, please have him go after the Schmedium gold. Please something. That's what it is. That's what it is. It's not the big gold. It's the Schmedium gold. I'm keeping it there.
Gold.
That being said,
hold on. Vaughn said he can't see Austin Theory with the new group. You talking about the new Dangerous Alliance with Heyman?
You can't see
the
it.
New Evolution 2.0.
What do you call?
I'll push back on that. I don't think he's too
Randy
much
Orton,
of a cornball to be Randy Orton.
Randy
was a
Orton
cornball early on. People forget that.
Anytime Randy Orton was part of a group before Legacy, he was constantly getting embarrassed. Like The Rock talking about him playing the dolls in Evolution.
It was my sister's doll.
The feud with DX, where Triple H and Shawn Michaels showed that photo of him covering his junk with a towel, and Orton going, "Ooh, oh, yeah, I guess that did happen." Like Orton was a goofball even before the Matt Riddle shit happened. This man was like speaking in tongues before every DDT. You're like, you got relax. People can flip a switch. I will say, in the case of Austin Theory and Grayson Waller, yes, do that angle, but like that could be a perfect tone shift as well. If you go back to Randy Orton, right? Randy Orton slowly became the Viper, whether it been the the punt kick being used while he still had the white wrist tape, the slow change to the black wrist tape, him getting lankier and leaner in his physique, because he used to be bloated back in like 05, 06.
Steroids.
Hey man, so some people, it takes a little bit more time. But what you call it? All right.
So what about the women? So like quickly, like is there a name in terms of the women that you like to see featured more or utilized more in the main roster? We talked about the men, especially the younger crop. Is there any women like that you'd like to see utilized more?
Definitely not Lyra Valkyrie.
For me,
she's being utilized.
Considering who you still have, you got Nia Jax just recently came back on TV. So using her in the world title scene is sort of like their giant there is fine. Natalya is someone who could definitely be used again, even if it's just for the sake of helping the secondary title divisions or helping a world championship program.
Can I say something? Can I say something real quick, Ty? Like,
okay, go ahead.
I give you a proposition. Natty right now it might interrupt the Crockett Cup for the women in NWA. How would you feel if she walked into WWE in a regular match as the NWA Women's Champion, competing for the Intercontinental Championship?
I wouldn't mind, but I also don't think it's necessary for her to hold that belt right away. I mean, like, I'll put it to you like this. If she came in, won the Crockett Cup, and just came in with the trophy and said, literally, this is what I could do if you put a focus on me, give me an opportunity, and she became, like, the Intercontinental Champion and did for that belt basically what Brett was doing for it in the early 90s. Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I would not mind that. Her defending it around, getting some love behind it, sure. I wouldn't mind that. But they need her in that division because they don't have much of a division, and she is one of the best people to hold it over and help build stars. She can literally be a star factory for them. As far as the women's tag division goes, again, you took out two of your best teams with Kaden Carter, Katana Chance, and Jakara Jackson all getting released. So that being said, if I was WWE,
titles at this point.
I made mention of this earlier. 8 years of this belt. You know what's one of the biggest things people don't talk about? The situation happened a few years ago during the pandemic when they tried to make an NXT tag title when they should have just gave NXT the WWE Women's Tag title in the first place. This is what you do. Bring those belts to NXT. Have Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez feud with an NXT team on the main roster and have NXT take captive of those belts for 7 months. I promise you, if you give NXT the WWE Women's Tag Team titles for 7 months, we will be having a whole different conversation about those belts 7 months from now. Because here's the reality of the situation, folks. WWE more and more have proved to most people that they only brought these belts in because they were getting flack for not having more belts for the women, and they didn't have a plan for this. But guess what? There are rumors that the Bellas are coming back.
Why?
And hold on, Matt. Don't dwell on it. There are rumors that the Bellas are coming back, which is probably the original reason they wanted these belts in the first place. But honest to God, if you give NXT the belts the way you should have did 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 7 years ago, if you give NXT the belts and let Shawn Michaels rock with them and build more organic foundational teams down there, you will have plenty of things to work with on the main roster. That's what I'm saying. You just give it to Shawn for now because it's clear you don't have a plan for it on the main roster. A lot of these feuds that you have, a lot of these teams and stuff, a lot of these things don't even need these belts on the main roster. So just give it to NXT. Let NXT run with it for a while. Let the NXT talent compete. And you can build some teams on the main roster too. And literally just have this cycle of people working with each other. It helps the NXT talent get reps. Gives the main roster talent something to do. But right now, like, bro, you talk about all the stables that have been killed. What do you call it? The stud line or the Pure Fusion Collective has been dead for a minute. Now it's completely dead because Shayna's gone and Zoe Stark's the only one there. Bro.
Yeah, Zoe's the last one remaining. Put her in the Intercontinental Championship.
That's what I was going to say. Let Zoe fight for the Intercontinental title. Zoe Stark versus Natalya could produce some really dope matches. Hey, man, I'm being honest. I know. I'm being honest. And also on the men's side of things, with the tag team championships, shift some people over. Actually, you know what? Give a fair chance to the LWO guys, Cruz del Toro and Joaquin Wilde. Give them a fair chance. Let them get a run. Move some people over. Like, for example, move over Chad Gable's group. Move them over to SmackDown. Move somebody else over to Raw. Free up some spots.
The pure stud fusion division is crazy.
I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is at all. I don't know.
God. But I was not ready for that. That's crazy.
But yeah, literally, folks, to wrap it up in a bow, use who you have, shift them in places where they'll thrive more. Even if it's for, like, whether it's for championships, whether it's for stories, like R-Truth possibly being John Cena's assistant now. That's a good story. Moving people in places that make sense. It's really all you have to do. Crack down, look at everybody, look at their motivations, and move them where it makes sense. You're telling me that because Bo Dallas potentially has a situation going. I don't know what's going on with the Wyatt Six, but it's
I have
hard
no
for me to
idea.
believe. It's hard for me to believe that Joe Gacy and Dexter Loomis can't be going after the Raw tag titles right now. If there isn't, like, I don't know if
They're on
there's an
SmackDown.
explanation. Oh, they're on SmackDown.
Yeah, they're on
hmm
SmackDown.
They could be. You're telling me they can't be a good like part of that division? Like, let's say let's say, for example, you were to move over. Damn it! Every time, yes, boy. If we were able to move over
Pretty deadly.
Pretty Deadly over to Raw, if you move Pretty Deadly over to Raw to feud with the New Day, that will be the most entertaining thing on Netflix.
So
I'm
they'll
telling
be.
you right now.
So they're good guys now. That's what you want to do.
If you
No,
make no,
they're starting to turn.
if you
They're,
make
they,
Pretty
they've been
Deadly
starting to turn for a
entertaining,
while now.
I'm not saying make them good. If you just let them just rock and let the crowd pick what they want to be and have
Mhm.
New Day feud with them, New Day's going to be like, see, they're doing to you what they used to do to us. We used to be just like you. That's a classic story. Have them play out. It gets Pretty Deadly over, and they become a integral part of Raw and their tag division. You move Pretty Deadly out, somebody's got to take that spot on SmackDown. Why can't it be the Wyatt Six? Is it a situation with Bo? Is it a situation with one of the talents? I don't know. But in a perfect scenario, Bo doesn't have to be there for that part to happen. You're talking about Joe Gacy, a guy who can already talk on his own, a guy who already had his own faction, right?
I
You're
don't
talking.
even know what happened to them. So there's a reason why they haven't been on TV.
I
We
I
don't.
I
We
I I
don't.
I don't know. But
I'll have,
oh, to
we have
finish
to look.
that.
We have to look more into it. But I'm just saying, in certain scenarios, like this is how they have enough talent that you can forget. So you have to crack down on who you can move. And honestly, now's the best time because you're treating WrestleMania like a reset button. There are plenty of talent who could jump in right now and start to just build a name for themselves over the course of the rest of the year. We need some momentum going into the summer. And you need to fill out that 2-day SummerSlam card that y'all were so insistent about.
Yes,
My
and
word, man.
and lastly, before anything, like Karrion Cross has been on a heater as of late creatively. Continue to let him, flesh more of that out.
Karrion Cross most likely should be Intercontinental Champion by the end of the year.
To be world champion. That's to be who
Either
Jay's feuding with now.
either or. He needs something.
I like that move. I like that
He
move. I
need,
like that move.
he deserves he deserves that just based off of the work he's been trying to put in the background for the past 6 months. Do it.
I think the happiest thing, and I feel horrible saying this because at the end of the day, that's people losing their jobs. I was so glad the Authors of Pain were gone because I'm like, all right, he needs to cook on his own. It's like, what are they there for? They got their ass beat
That's
by the
fair.
Wyatts.
That's fair.
Like, what are they there for?
That's fair. I mean, they could have been dominant tag team on their own. I don't know why they try to attach them to an actual
Yeah, in
faction.
NXT, like they was before.
They screwed that up. Like, and then of course you got Rusev on that roster now coming
I
back.
think Vince screwed that up. We need to be honest.
Rusev is another. The
Mhm.
Authors of Pain definitely could have been on their own. They didn't have to even be in a group to begin with.
That's
They
a
had
fact.
the group.
There's a
Granted,
lot
they couldn't talk.
that it didn't. They had Paul Ellering. They didn't even try
Yeah,
to
and
utilize Paul
he's
Ellering.
out of date. He's out of date. Some
No,
people
he's
cannot last in this era. You know
But
that.
even
But at the same time, hold on. But at the same time, like I would agree for the fact that like for Paul, he was don't if it's not broke, don't fix it. With them,
but if you
they have
wanted to
perfect synergy.
fix it. But the funny part is, I don't mean to cut you off, friend. But the funny part is, there were two managers in that group. You have
Three.
Scarlett and Paul Ellering. You're telling
And
me?
Karrion Cross.
All right.
Wow.
The point I'm trying to make,
Continue,
all
Todd.
jokes aside, is that if you didn't want Paul Ellering to be the long-term mouthpiece for them, Scarlett is right there. She can talk on the microphone. She can hype these two up and just be the mastermind behind well, maybe not the mastermind, depending on how you want to do it, but she could be just as influential as Cross doing her own thing with those two as the forefront of the tag division. Like,
Yeah.
this is my point. Y'all are getting rid of people you didn't even try to use their potential for. You just brought them back because you thought it was a good idea. You're like, okay, we got something for you. We're going to try to get you something. And then you never gave them anything.
But she could be a mouthpiece though, MD. So like MDB, like I think she could be a mouthpiece on her own. I just think you got to give her a chance to prove that.
And it doesn't have to be like her cutting 20-minute promos, hyping these people up. Limit her time, work to her strengths, have her stick and move when it comes to this stuff, and they would have
Stick
been
and
fine.
move.
Stick and move, man.
Stick and move.
That's all I'm saying. Like, I know, and here's the funny part. A lot of people are going to bring their opinions to the table and say, well, I never saw them as this. They don't really do that. I don't really see them. The funny part is that while that's all valid, the other side of the perspective, you never got to see them try either. A lot of you making those judgments is fine based on what you saw. I can't blame you for feeling that way, but you also never got to see them try. And for some of y'all, you might not even know what they're capable of before they came here or in general. So you have to at least give these people opportunities, because if you're calling for new talent, moving people around, you have to give them a chance to show it.
Oh, can I say something about the MDB? Like Todd just said, we never got to see her do anything besides that, so we don't even know what her potential is. I don't want to be honest.
Yeah,
So,
we gotta give her a chance.
Yeah.
If we can invest time in Maxine Dupree to become a better wrestler on TV and have that be her story, you're telling me we can't give Scarlett a chance to try and cut a promo? And if she screws up, you're right, we move on. But if she does decent, then that's something you can work with.
It's a feel-good story, though. I felt good watching it.
No, it is, but I'm saying you gave Maxine Dupree, a virtual unknown, a chance. You're telling me Scarlett, who's been in the business for years, cut her own promos in TNA and this and that. You're telling me she can't get a chance to cut a promo to see if she can be a manager for a team? I'm just saying.
It's real shit.
Sex sells.
He said Maxine is more remarkable,
and she was sex sells, and she was a smoke show in TNA.
Yeah, sadly still is, but you know, that's either here nor there.
That was her gimmick. Get the fuck out of here. Not y'all.
Right.
I'm talking about the people. Come on.
All right. So closing out. Not bad. We got this shit done in a little less than an hour 10. So the closes out is Eric in here this week. Who wants to give us their match of the week? Anyone?
I got a match of the week for you. I know a lot of y'all are gonna hit me with the sport. Hey, I got you. You know what I'm saying? I'm not finishing sentences, but I got you because I'm Eric right now. Let's do this. So your match of the week is from NXT from about 2018.
Ooh, black and gold.
The debut of Kyle O'Reilly, unfortunately, at the expense of a black mass from Aleister Black. Aleister Black versus Kyle O'Reilly, one of the hardest hitting matches in modern WWE history, given to you on free TV. Given to you on free TV. Since Aleister Black is back and in full effect, I want to bring it back to a period where he was one of the main focuses of the company. This match is more along the lines of mixed martial arts to most of y'all than pro wrestling, but watch what they do and how they spin it and build to the bigger moments in matches. It is as pro wrestling as it gets. And honestly, you end up going from, I don't really know how to feel about this at the beginning, to holy shit, that was awesome at the end. So yeah,
some generational hooping back then. Generational.
No, 2018 was a shitty year. What are you talking about?
Not for NXT. No.
It was. Hey, we went to NXT Takeover. We went to the New York one. We watched Adam Cole versus Johnny Gargano. I almost.
You was not happy. I
almost headbutted my chair. Don't ask me how you do that. No, Matt, don't think about it. It's abstract. Word to Q-tip. All right, moving on. Let's end the show. Yeah.
All right, man. So Ty, prelude next week. Could you give a sneak peek to the fans in terms of what we're going to talk about next week?
Absolutely not. Y'all are just gonna have to find out, and that's the bottom line because my photo said so.
All right, so man, it's been a dope ass episode this week. Thank you to everybody that joined this week's show. Shout out to GC, shout out to Vaughn who's in the chat, shout out to Shop Biz, Johnny aka Michael Bostic in the chat as well. Shout out to the Black Guy Wrestling Podcast, shout out to JT from Marks with Mikes. Of course Faith, who we all know and love. So it's been real. We had a good conversation today talking about releases and all that stuff. We're going to Jobber Slam.
I'm talking my Faith.
You'll find out soon. She'll be there. But Jobber Slam is coming this June. So guys, check that out. But with that said, man, it's been a good week. May the 4th be with y'all on this Sunday.
I ain't no sexy boy. I'm Steve Austin. 96.
Man,
you remember.
We'll see you guys next week. Continue to support the brand. Continue to support the Brawl. You can follow us on Twitter at _Brawl. We're on Facebook at
Goddamn
the
right,
Backstage Brawl.
What?
YouTube, the Backstage Brawl.
I ain't no sexy boy, man.
What?
I ain't no sexy boy.
What?
Goddamn right.
Oh
What?
my god.
You goddamn right. All right, now everybody get out.
This has been a dope ass episode, man. Thank you guys for joining. It's been the Backstage Brawl. It's been the Broadcast episode 176, entitled May the 4th Be With You. It's the People's Champion, aka Stu Pickles this week, Kid Dynamite, and Hennessy Bobby Brown.
Man, they don't care who you are. Get out. Get out.
We'll see you guys next week, man. Much love.
Mercedes Monet.
Peace.
Mercedes Monet.